So I went to go stock up on some of my new Calgon stuff. This is really good for those kitchens to clean coils, stuff like that. This is like their safer option versus some of their other aerosol sprays. That's a Black Hawk one, but I had to make a stop at the dollar store for this. Hola, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm gonna go take care of a controller that I need to do, and it required me to stop really quick. Grab the yellow can. It's more universal, but maybe less inconspicuous if a customer sees me walking through the kitchen with it. So if you guys follow me on Instagram, social media, I kind of post over there a little bit more, as far as like what I'm doing daily. And if you guys remember, if you did see it, we had some little issue with one of our small prep coolers, and which is weird because I worked there a lot on the old one. Finally had to condemn it. I forgot what they wanted. Like, it was still working, but they didn't. It was so old that they wanted a new one because it wasn't keeping up correctly, and the rail is encapsulated. It's like closed, sealed from everything, and there's no way you're repairing the rail. It's basically the wall that gets. The wall is the evaporator. It freezes up. It kind of works like an ice chest, and once those start leaking or having issues, you can't really do anything. I got laughed at on the phone one time. When I called for one for another customer, these were built into the walls too. So those had no wheels or anything. And they laughed and said, yeah, if you want to go in the back, where it's stainless steel, right? Go in the back, cut out a panel, get through all the insulation and everything, and then, repair your leak or whatever it is, and then, figure out how to patch that up. Unless you're going to do all that, you're not going to fix it. So granted, I don't even know where the leaks are most of the time because it runs so far. It's a wide rail, a wide evaporator essentially. Like, how am I going to know where the leak is? So once those start failing and leaking, we can't do too much. I don't know if you guys have ever dealt with that, but it was old enough. They bought a new one. For some reason, I haven't worked on the new one. It's been working fine. And they were having issues with one of the controllers, which we had to go out and order. Should be a Danfoss controller. They were having issue with the controller. This one was actually getting too cold. So the complaint was that it was freezing everything. And I went in there, messed with it. It's not reading correctly, and it's just not cycling off. Lo and behold, when I opened it up, had a bunch of little friends in there. Didn't even want the job, but quoted that I can only replace all the controller with the sensor and everything, because I wasn't going to work on it more than once. I was like, I'll replace everything here that deals with that controller, and then we'll go from there. I'm gonna spray in there, try not to take or put my tool bag too close, and then just change it out. I'll take some wipes and all that, clean it up, and just hold my breath. I could immediately, when I went to this call the first time, I could smell that it was infested. You can just smell it. If you worked in kitchens and you work around pest problems and stuff like that, you know when you're walking up to one, you can smell it. And I already knew what was going to happen, so carefully opened it up. Thankfully, I didn't even take my tool bag. I just took a couple of like screwdrivers that time to check it. Oh, Oh, van's a mess. I just want to get through this call kind of quick. But for the guys that were asking for videos with the MCT, finally got one in. This one's a little bit different. We got it at the award show. It's basically an MCT just with some red accents, tactical branding. But it's a reliable HVACR edition if you ask me. So I'm going to take obviously some gloves, the spray, and the control, and then I'll explain a few things after that, after we get out of here. Yeah, we're gonna need plenty of these. All right, so while we're on the topic of calls I did not want, right? And that's been happening a lot lately. And, you know, the last thing I want is for that phone to stop ringing. So I can't complain. We've gotten to a point where we are, you know, privileged enough to turn down work if we don't want it. Being an HVAC technician has its ups and downs, right? Being a business owner, same thing, but it's a roller coaster a lot of the time. So I've been trying to implement more online presence. Now, word of mouth is always the go-to. It's always how we get a lot of our work. If you guys are residential home service, it's different. I'm looking for restaurant owners, people that work in the hospitals, you know, higher up management, engineering departments, places where we can get commercial work from. And I've been using tools, you know, such as Jobber. You guys have seen me use that for a long time, but I started with this other company, CallRail. If you guys want to be able to track, like I mentioned earlier, you know what's working, you know what's not working, whether it's billboards, your van wrap, your business cards, brochures, whatever it is, you can track it with CallRail, and you can use these numbers, different numbers, to, like I said, keep track of them to know which ones are which. And you can use these phone numbers and reroute them to whatever phone you want to, whether it's your phone personally, somebody that handles it for you. There's a lot of flexibility in where you route those calls to, and you can change that on the fly, and all the analytics are there. Like, hey, that billboard that I put up, that I spent so much money on, is it working? Is it not working? And you can you know, kind of not waste your money on stuff that isn't working. If you guys are interested in learning more, go to callrail.com. I'll leave a link in the description. I appreciate them for sponsoring today's video. I think when I posted that, I was like, tell me you work in kitchens without telling me you work in kitchens. So I had to get a little spray and just be as clean as I could. I'm not usually one for scented cleaners, whether it's sprays or those wet rags. But those are from New Calgon. I believe they're called Great Shark wipes, something like that. Those are orange citrus scented. And like I said, I normally don't care for that kind of stuff, but I knew in this case it would help tremendously. Like I said, it smelled so bad. And, just being able to clean everything, wipe everything down, having that pleasant orange smell, especially here, was a big help. So yeah, check out New Calgon. I've been stocking up on some stuff and trying out those wipes. They were really good, really helpful here. Obviously it was running and just wasn't registering. Once I opened it up, I was like, I'm sorry, like either we're replacing the whole thing or I'm not doing it. So I replaced the controller. I left the other two alone. There's 3. And replaced the sensor going, basically that reads the temp of the rail. So replaced all that. Got all that done. So I told her, just, check it out, see if it freezes a product. And if it does, we might have to go with a universal controller. I'm big on universal parts. So I carry a lot of Packard stuff, the Hvacr motors, all that kind of stuff. The only time I go OEM is obviously if it's under warranty or relatively new, where we, I tell the customer, this is the best way to go. If it is a special fit, right? Like I mentioned, the Hvacr motors, I love those things, the 9721s for a lot of the stuff that I do on the refrigeration side. I use a lot of the Economaster for condenser motors on HVAC equipment. I use a lot of universal parts. I never have issues with them. Contactors, transformers, like I said, Packard. I never have issues with them, but if it's a special fit and I run into them sometimes where you would have to do quite a bit of modifications or cutting or, something just to get a universal to fit. If that's the case, I'm going to check price difference. I'm going to check the amount of time that it would take me to do those modifications and the extra effort and work that goes into that, forcing that universal in versus, hey, I can go pick one up, tomorrow that's OEM that fits right and it's just plug and play. So you know, there's a thing about, you know, going OEM or going universal. I know a lot of people are strictly strictly OEM. All right, so I think I'm gonna end it there. I don't normally do these videos when I know it's just like a like for like part, thermostat, a switch. You know, I don't normally make videos on those. I usually try to save the videos for like actually troubleshooting and trying to figure out something, you know, a harder call. But I've also been trying to just post more, and I think on these they can be interesting where it's like a day-to-day or a day in the life, or, you know, whatever you want to call it, to where this one ended up being a little bit interesting. If you have never worked in a kitchen, you probably don't think about these kinds of things. And it actually reminds me of another one. I actually had a video on an AC unit where I pulled off the thermostat off the wall, couldn't figure out why it wouldn't come on, and found a bunch of friends behind that one too. So kitchen work it's not for everybody, and I can tell you, I wish I had started, or I wish YouTube was a thing when I started, because man, I would have had some good ones. When I first got into the trade, I was always covered in grease. I always worked around pests, issues like that. Yeah, remember to check out CallRail. I appreciate them for being a new sponsor of the podcast and the channel in general. You can check out a playlist over here that I'm going to be adding to. That's going to be, I ended up getting that sponsored to do more videos. So we're going to do some how-tos and, you know, stuff that I do, just not in a classroom form, but more of like in the field, on the job training. That's what these videos are going to be. So I'm adding to those from, like I said, certain sponsors. And then you can also check out the latest video over here, which I've been doing a lot of tool bag videos and stuff like that. And remember to check out the podcast. Like I said, we just started up the Reliable Trades podcast. We have Morgan's Maintenance, which a lot of you probably know. So make sure you go sub to that one. We did not leave. We just rebranded so I could give you guys some very interesting stories from many different people that do many different things. That's just still the same motto. Good conversations with good people, and hopefully you get something out of it. I appreciate you guys, and remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. See you guys.